What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Yakin with Yukon. Good to see you guys. Big show tonight. Every show's a big show, but this is kind of big show times five. Five guests tonight. Never been done before. I'm going to try really hard not to F it up because I'm nervous. And I'll be honest, I'm nervous every Yakin with Yukon because you just never know how these things are going to go. But Rogue 5 Cantina is gracious enough to be on the show tonight. Very, very happy about that. Definitely check them out later tonight at let's see, 8 Central. That'll be 9 Eastern. And I know they got Tony and I can't remember who else they had, but they've got two amazing guests. So check them out as well. Let's say hi to some people before we get going. We got Rex. What's up, good buddy? How you doing? And there he is. We were talking about you in the back there, Mr. Man Collects, and what a tremendous human being you are, and what a great job you're doing, buddy. And that's not sarcasm. We really mean that. So, man, it's good to have you here. Good to see you, Flex. What's up, man? Good to have you here, even though you're in the background. We've got Janine. Good to have you. We've got Brett. We've got Scott. Scott, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Art Chakardazilla. What's up, man? We've got Roughshod Wifey. We've also got Rosa. Good to have you. And I think, there he is. Jay Philly Toys. What's up, man? Good to have you also. All right. I think that's everybody. So let's do it. Rogue 5 Cantina. I have 10 seconds to get all of them in here as their intro's playing. So let's do it. Here we go. What's up, Rogue 5 Cantina?
What's up? What's up, Yakin with Yukon?
What up, bro?
Chris, what's up, dude?
You're using my real name, Joe.
I always do.
He does. He
I always got to pull the curtain back, dude. You know that. I have to. I know you long enough, and you know I love you, brother.
Absolutely. Right back at you, brother. I appreciate that. So I'm going to welcome all you guys in one at a time because I think that's the proper thing to do. So let's start out with kind of the leader here, a man who's on for the third time, Mr. JMC Flex. What is up, my brother? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a long road, but it's been a fun road too. And like ever since I sat on a beach in Myrtle Beach and thought of this, these guys have come, 100% with me, and I love them all. Janine, the first sister, Brett, Flex, the Brian, the newest addition of the Rogue 5 Cantina. I couldn't be happier with the way this is going, and I couldn't do it without these guys. So let's focus on them tonight.
It's awesome,
for sure.
Man. I love it. Yeah, a lot of questions on how this materialized. We'll get to that. Janine, great to have you. Appreciate you being on.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Brett, you're your second time on.
Yeah, man.
Good to have you, man.
Thanks.
And then Brian, we've never met before, but also great to have you on, man. I've checked out some of your work. Amazing stuff.
Thank you.
And Flex, what's up, Flex? Good to have you on. I don't think we've ever met face to face either, but good to have you on, man.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. So, all right. So these questions are really going to be open-ended. Anybody can answer. Really not worried about how that's going to go. But I think the question of the day is, how did this whole thing materialize?
Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
I'll take. Well, as things happened with my other show back in August, I think it was. I really loved doing this kind of show. So I was actually down in Myrtle Beach, and I was thinking like, damn, I really want to do something more Star Wars based. And I talked to Eben, and I was like, hey, you want to branch out, like kind of, it sounds kind of weird right now, like thinking back, but like, do you want to branch out like kind of like WWE does, like Raw and SmackDown? Like, do you want to have a Sunday show and a Friday show? And he was all about it. And I was like, let me hear more about this, what you're thinking. And I told him, because I was originally going to be on that show, and then it was too many people. So it was like too much going on. So he was like, let me hear your ideas. And I told him, and he suggested a couple of people, and I had a couple of people in mind. And after that, like everything meshed together. Janine, Janine came to my head. Brett, Flex, Tom Solo, who was no longer with us, but he'll always be one of the Row 5 for sure. He's always
Sure.
going to be in the family for sure.
Yep.
We love him to death, and he was honest with us and couldn't give us 100% of the time, but he will always be with us for sure. And then Brian came along, and we love Brian, and when that happened, it was like we're full circle. It's like we have our Joel Hazy with us now. We have our Brian with us, and we couldn't be happier to have him with us. Honestly, excuse me.
And which one am I? Am I Scott?
You're Scott. You're definitely Scott. You're definitely Scott. I'm Eben. Pick who you want, but like the family is full, and we're 5 on each show now, and it just feels right, man. It just feels right. Like Brian is like he's one of us. Like this worked out. It couldn't have worked out perfectly, more perfect than it has, honestly.
Yeah.
And we love him. The way we introduced him, we teased the shit out of him for weeks. Not that anybody cared about what I was doing on Instagram, but I love that kind of shit. So it just worked out full circle, and I couldn't do this without Brett, Brian, Janine, and Flex. So I leave the door open to them. They can talk as much as they want right now because these guys are the reason why I'm here, and I thank them and I love them so much. So,
Aww.
Thanks, brother.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Joe.
For sure.
That's awesome. And when you get Evan's blessing, you got to do it, right? Evan's been on the show before. Evan's an amazing guy.
He
Love
is.
everything
He really
does.
Yep.
And that sort of thing.
Joe, may your drugstore purchases be blessed with KY.
You know what? Tonight we have a special non-sponsor that I'm going to show you, and you're not going to believe what happens tonight at 9:00. You'll see.
Hey,
Even these guys don't even know what's going to happen tonight
Right?
with KY jelly.
let me just tell Phil.
Go for it.
When Joe hit me up about it, I got to give him credit. He was very open and honest about his feelings about stuff and what he wanted to do. And think about how embarrassing it would be if you asked a bunch of other creators to do something like this, and one, they said no, or two, they said yes, and then just kept on going and never came back. So He was like, "Listen, man, I just need some commitment to do this. I need a team. Let's put it together." And then I just started spitballing ideas with him because we didn't know each other very well. We were on an episode of SRL together, and so then we started chatting.
Didn't even realize it.
Yeah. And I mean, I really liked what he was telling me that he wanted to do because he and I both were at this kind of crossroads with things. And I was like, bro, this sounds really cool. I want to be able to give you what you're asking for. Let me think on it, So I got back a hold of him a couple weeks later. I was like, you know what? Let's effing go. Let's do it. And it's cool because all we said was, all right, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and let's just all have a piece and go. And it's been really fun. It's great. I was I already knew everybody somewhat through the community.
That's right.
And I've been friends with Brian for going on a couple years now. And so getting to know Flex and having Flex on here was awesome because it was like a coup because he didn't have a show. So I felt like, hey, we got him. We got our guy, And he had been through so much and everybody loves him. And so to have him say yes to this for me was awesome because, he didn't come from that creator background like we do. And Janine didn't per se either. So it was just awesome to get to know everybody on another level and work together and do this. And it's really been cool. It's been fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just want to say that because, Joe, thanks for thinking of me when you put it together.
Yeah. And like with me, Joe hit me up, I think in Instagram chat, right?
Yes.
And said, this is my idea. Would you consider it? And I said, yes. I didn't even think.
Not even a hesitation, huh?
No, because like Joe and I had always chatted and he's my enabler. So I don't know if you know this. Joe is always really good about finding me like deals. And he's like, you should buy this. Put it on the card.
Put it on the card.
Pay it off on payday. But you need this helmet. So he and I both collect X-Cozer helmets, and I think we have matching collections right now.
Exactly.
Great helmets. Well, and you've started your own channel too, right? I caught your collection. Great collection, by the way.
Thank you.
So how's that been for you, Janine? How's it been, kind of taking what you've got and branching off of it?
It's been kind of weird because like Scott and I share our technology. This is Scott's microphone. That's Scott's camera. And so I knew I wanted to do my own thing, but it was like, he's upstairs teaching. I don't have, everything that I need. And finally one day I'm like, you know what? I could do it with my phone. I could do it with my iPad. And I decided to do my collection room tour. I was off for 4 days last week. And I don't remember when I posted it. I think it was Monday or Tuesday.
No.
And as of today, I have 4,500 views.
Wow.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's just like
Congratulations.
crazy.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Love it.
So-
Love it.
Yeah,
Awesome
it was a little
collection.
shocking. I was at the NAMM show yesterday in Disney, and I kept getting like notifications and subscribers. I had 14 subscribers, and I don't even know how many I
Nice.
now, but I'm just like, this is awesome.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
super cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
Flex, how did Joe approach you, Flex? Was he a total dick, or was he?
You know, it's
I'm always,
How did
I'm
that
always
go?
a total
Of
dick.
Of
Let's
course.
get that straight.
it's funny because prior to this, I didn't know Joe. I barely knew Brett. The only one I really knew well was Janine because we were from the Spice Runners Lounge crew. I've been there since day one with Eben and stuff like that, and here and there, I would be a co-host on the show with them and stuff. I've seen Brett's name in the chat room and stuff, and as well as Joe's, and then later Brian came on, and that's why I knew him. Yeah, when he reached out to me, I probably was the most hesitant one.
He
'Cause-
was. He
Yeah,
was.
for hearing you were.
Because of my personality, I'm that kind of guy. I don't do nothing
I
half-assed.
love that.
I either
Yeah.
go in 100
Yeah.
or not at all. I
Mhm.
respect other people's time as well as I expect the same in return.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
told him, let me sleep on it and stuff. And I spoke to high command. I even reached out to Eben and stuff, and we had a positive conversation. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go in. And then I hit him up and I told Joe, yeah, you can count on me, brother. I'm in, and it's been a great ride ever since.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, they
Thank you,
wanted you
brother.
for that, but I mean, look at the background that you provide too. Who doesn't want that on their life?
Right?
Yeah,
Come
dude.
on, man.
He's got
It's
the
a
I know.
green
Epic
screen.
background.
It's a
Well,
green
you know
screen.
what,
It's a
dude?
green
Like,
screen.
Oh, it's a green screen. Okay.
he
Cool,
really
though.
brings up.
That's
He brings a
actually
lot to the
Brian's
show. You know what? And he's opened up so much. If you watch our first episode, and you watch our last episode,
Oh,
I
shit.
mean, from being really
Night and
quiet
day, yeah.
to having all the questions that were so
Yes.
good on our show.
And that wicked sense of humor that just pops
Yeah.
out when you least expect it.
I'm telling you, I don't think in a perfect world I could have picked 4 other people that were better than these. And that's not a knock to anyone else. The meshing of it together
Very important.
is
Yeah.
just fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. I love these guys and gals.
It's an amazing
really do.
balance. It's an amazing balance. We all
It
balance each other.
I love them.
too.
I love each and every one of them. I really do.
So then you guys kind of get put in a spot where you need to get someone new, and you
Yes.
choose Brian. What was it about Brian that it's like, this is our guy. This is the guy that we want. This is the guy that's going to mesh with what you just said with Joe, where he's going to mesh, and we're all kind of one cohesive unit. What was it about Brian that made that choice easy for you guys?
Well, we had our Tom, we had our Joel Hosey, we had him, and when Tom realized that he couldn't give 100% of the time, we appreciated that he had told us up front and honestly, and he'll always be a part of this, and he's welcome back anytime, and he'll always be a part of the Road 5 Cantina.
Yeah.
But when he left, on good terms, I'm still really good friends with him. I talk to him almost once a week at least.
He's doing a stream with me next Wednesday.
I knew that we had to have someone that was creative, who was fun, who was a good guy, and Brian fit into all those categories. And we have our Joel Hosey now, so he is the guy who is the most creative. Not to put anybody else down, but he's definitely creative more than I am for sure.
More than I am.
But he's the guy who's going to take this into the next realm of what Road 5 Cantina is. And I can't wait to see what that is, honestly, because we talk constantly and we always have ideas, and where we might not always agree on ideas right now, the future is bright because we have ideas for the future, and too much too fast might be a lot too much, to be honest.
Right.
but slow and steady win the race. And we have some really good ideas in the future for this channel. So it's going to be an awesome ride. And we can appreciate all the people who's, Rosa and Zombie Hunter and Ken, who are here and Utini collects, who are here 3 or 4 days ahead of time before our show even starts.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's amazing.
And
It's awesome.
I just can't say enough to I love these 4 people. I really do. It sounds cliche, but these are my people, man. Like these are the ones, and I owe it all to them.
Nice, man. Brian, how's the experience been for you so far?
It's been pretty great. So it was kind of a kind of the perfect timing for the transition, because I was, there was like 6 to 7 guys on Spice Runners.
Mhm.
So I think they're trying to go back to 5, and so it was kind of kismet to jump over to the Rogue 5 Cantina from Spice Runners, and it's been pretty great. So, and the whole experience has, I started this a year ago with at this time a year ago with Spice Runners, maybe a little bit more.
Right.
There was like 50 some odd episodes. So jumping
Mm-hmm.
over, it's I kind of got used to the camera and used to being on with a group and things like that. And so now it's just it's here, it's a new group, and we're getting to know everyone. And like I've known Brett for a while, but everyone else it's new. But now we're just gonna continue to build the show and build our connections and go forward.
Which you guys are doing great. I mean, I see your numbers all the time. I'm like, bucket list. I need to get like where they're at for my viewership and stuff. But I think the biggest question I had was, I don't have to I have to do things my way, but you guys have 5 people. Do you ever find any differences when it comes to, discrepancies when it comes to guests, or just on the live when it's like, I'm going to talk, no, he's going to talk, no, she's going to talk. Do you ever run into yourselves with that kind of thing? And how does that work when that does happen?
That's kind of what I was saying before. We established early on some basic roles and just said, hey, you control this, you control this, and then you'll be the mediator, and everybody else will just chime in when it's appropriate. And sometimes we do step on each other's toes, but
like Joe and I last week.
Yeah. But for the most
I'll
part,
step on her toes any day of the week. I love it.
like it actually makes it easier, because instead of you sitting down doing your own stream and doing 5 things, now you're only doing 1, and you can chill and just leave it on the other person. So if Joe says, hey, I'm going to get so-and-so to be the guest, I didn't have to do that work.
Right.
If Flex is doing sounds and Janine's doing chat stuff, and she's got that wonderful broadcast style speaking voice, she can say, hey, so-and-so wants to know what kind of bread you like. And then Brian can kick in
and to pull the curtain back just a little bit. So I do the opening, I do the chat, I go around the room, I see how everybody's week was, and then after that, these guys take over. Like Brett does the BST.
The BST.
What does Brett do?
Brian does the.
I drink.
I can't keep
I say things.
Brian does the work in progress. Janine does the work in progress on Facebook. Janine takes over the chat after I do the initial chat. Flex, he does all the sounds and everything. Like that, like our sponsor. Who's our sponsor for the nights, Flex? I mean,
man, the chat is on fire already.
Yeah.
Six
I
man.
would appreciate it if you do so, that we let the mythical YouTube algorithm know that you guys are having fun, that you are actually liking the stream. So I would appreciate it.
If you get tired of that voice,
I
can sub in. If you get
I
tired
put up
of
with
that
that.
voice.
I put up with that voice at like 4 or 5 days at ICCC. If I can do it in person, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
So I love
our
Jose,
secret
and he
sixth
knows
man.
that, and he'll always be part of the family as well.
Yeah.
But like I said, these guys, I owe a lot to them, and we each have a part of the show. It's not like anybody owns it. Yeah, I thought of it, but we all come into this together. So it's a fun time. I love these guys, honestly, and gals.
Mhm.
It's It's great, man. Yeah, and that's the way to do it. I think is
Mhm.
kind of start from the behind the scenes. Say you're in charge of this, you're in charge of that, and
Yep.
Yeah.
everybody knows their job.
Yep.
I'm a little jealous because I got to do all this myself, but
Right.
still
Right?
very.
I don't know how you do
But
it, brother.
I don't
Really
that
know.
was
I
the
mean,
background I was coming from. My own
Yeah.
channel where I did everything every week, and it was like, man, 5 of us. I don't know if that's gonna be a train wreck or if it's gonna work out. The first
Right.
couple
Right.
weeks
Mhm.
were kind of shaky because people were on vacation. We had subs. Brian came
Yeah.
in, sat in
Yeah.
with us, so we're like
It was a
naturally
shit
when they were
show.
like, "What do
And
we
then
do?"
we
I'm
had
like,
just Joe and I.
It was
Yeah.
it was Janine. Janine and I was like 2 weeks. We had we had open
Yeah.
mic night. You know what?
And they were like 4 hours long.
But we
Yeah.
made it work. We had 2 hot dogs and some fish sticks. We had all kinds of shit
Guests
happening
from
here.
around the world, and
But the fun part about this is everybody in our chat feels like part of the family.
Yes.
So when we had Rosa, we had Diana, we had Santino, we had
Right.
Ken, we had Kaz, it felt like another
Yeah.
day at the office. It wasn't
Right.
like weird for us. Like it
Yes.
was just another day. And we love those guys and gals so much that they fit right in.
Yeah.
And it was just another day at the office, like I said. And it doesn't matter who's on the screen. It matters of what you make of it. And what we make of it is a fun time every week where it's Star Wars, but we can tweak off a little bit off of Star Wars and still have
That's
a good
right.
time.
And we kind of let the chat kind of dictate, what we're going to talk about, just to see,
Exactly.
what they're
Yeah.
talking about, and just
Mhm.
take it from there. Because you don't always have a guest. Sometimes you just
Mhm.
don't.
Yeah,
So
like
we
Scott Barry,
just
like
go in.
her better half or her other half. We'll say her other half. I don't know if he's better or not. I love his goatee, but he's not better. But he said they only had like 2 hot dogs and some fish sticks, and we named our show 2 hot dogs and fish sticks. I mean, where else are you gonna get that? It was fun, like for
It
us.
was.
I was like, hey, Brett, we're changing the name of the show. It's 2 hot dogs and fish sticks
Yeah.
now. That's it.
That's funny.
So,
He's
I
like, wait, what?
He likes better
and you
half.
know what? Scott Barry put his heart and soul into our opening. Like we love him
Yes.
to death. Like we'll always support him. We'll always support all those guys.
Yep.
We're family.
Yep.
It's just another brand. That's all it is. And
Yes.
it's so much fun for us.
And the synchrony between us, it just gets better each week. Tonight is our episode
Yeah.
13
Yeah.
tonight. And I mean, me, like Brett said, I'm the one with the least experience being in front of a camera and mic and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And yet, I've seen how
You're
we've
doing
grown as a group,
Yeah.
episode after episode, the timing, we just
Right.
kind of like bounce off of one another.
Mhm.
Like I already know what to expect from each one of them and how to respond to certain things and stuff like that. And we just, the
Yeah.
timing is just getting better and better.
Yeah.
And going back to what Joe was saying, in regards to the members in the chat, it's literally become one big family. It's amazing. We had one of our friends in the chat, who lost their cat not too long ago, and everyone, is just showing their condolences and the love and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Another guest, Rosa, she's in the chat now. She just got her first,
Love
collectible.
you, Rosa.
And last week we were all celebrating that she got her first collectible, and everyone's, congratulations.
Right.
That's right.
And Rosa's from Norway,
You gotta do
so
the-
We do the
what time
Vikings,
is it?
the horns.
Yeah.
We grew up the
That's
horns for Rosa.
right?
Yeah.
It's become a family. I mean, and I look forward to this every Sunday, every Friday
Yeah.
night as well over
Yeah.
at Express Runners, because it's like Joe says, like another day in the office. It's like that show Cheers, but
There you
it's
go.
but it's Cantina, but it's
Where everybody knows your name, brother,
exactly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
come to the Cantina, everyone knows
It's like-
your name.
right? And you know what? You hit home on that because like every Sunday, I used to dread, like, because I was like, oh shit, go back to work Monday.
Yeah.
Got a 5 work week of hell, meetings and shit happening, all kinds of craziness. But now we can ease on to the weekend, ease on to the week with the Row 5 Cantina. What, like Spice Runners get you into the weekend and you're chill and you're drinking, and like people dread Sundays, but now hopefully they don't dread Sundays anymore.
Mhm.
It's like me, it's like it's like Brett, it's like Janine, it's like Brian, it's like Flex. We look forward to Sundays because I get so energized into doing this.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I've always watched your show, Yukon, like Chris. It's like I've always watched.
We always message each other. Hey, I'm watching Yukon right now.
Yeah, well, I
Before we
appreciate
get
that.
on the
Yeah,
mark.
and
Do that.
Janine, Janine is like the biggest one. Like she's watched all you guys.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, she keeps up.
T3, she watches all you guys. She
She
mentions
doesn't
it
give you
in our chat.
advice.
We have a
Don't
private
watch-
chat.
Chris,
Don't watch
everyone.
T3. Stay away from T3. He's not that good of a
Raphael.
guy.
T3's a little iffy, you know. I love him to death,
Yeah.
but like he's a little fruitcake. But you know what? I love him to death, dude. But you know what? Like California, here we come. But I love him. You know, without him, I wouldn't have the courage to do this because I was on his show first. I love T3.
Yeah.
Have we had our differences over the year? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. But you know, I owe this all kind of to him because like he gave me the courage to talk about my son passing away back, you know, on live video. You know, it's like T3's awesome. I love Carlos.
Carlos,
Whatever
I mean, in all
happens with me and
seriousness,
him, the future is bright. I hope he
Carlos
does well.
is one of the best ones. He's one
He
of the
is.
best ones.
I hope he
give
does
him a
well.
ton
I
of
hope
crap. Yep.
his show's coming back on the 30th, and I'll be watching, and I hope he does great. I really do.
Yep.
He's gave me the platform and the courage to do this.
Yeah, man.
I didn't think I could ever be on camera with this mug. But you know, here I am today, and I got these 4 people with me, and I love it.
There you go. Awesome.
be
Let me
honest
welcome
with
in a
you.
couple more people. Rolando, he's
Rolando!
got his channel going.
Oh.
Keep it up,
I've been
Rolando.
watching his toy hunts too. Is everyone else subscribed? Please.
Yeah.
Rolando's
subscribe
the
to
man,
Rolando.
dude.
I mean, come on. It's Rolando.
I love
Yeah,
Rolando.
Pat's fan for life. Good to have you here.
Pat's
Kenneth.
fan. What's up,
And
brother?
then Figure Fever. If you guys haven't checked out Figure Fever, go check him out. He's also another guy.
Thanks for the
fairly
2.
newer.
I will.
Thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Check him out. He's doing a great job as well. And Rosa, thank you also. Very kind of you. Thank you
Love
very
you,
much.
Rosa.
What time
With the
is
conversion,
it?
she
There,
sent you
Rosa?
like $1 million.
It's like 3 in the morning there. I love it's like 2 in the morning. I love her, Rosa.
Stay awake, Rosa. We still got our show coming.
Oh yeah. And there's our good buddy Archer from Nerd Affiliated.
Archer.
Nerd affiliated. What's up, bro?
Good to have you here, man.
Loved your last show. Listen to it on the way home from work. Or going to work. One of those.
I've been catching him during the week.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's so
Yep.
close to
Coffee
getting
stuff.
remonetized, so guys definitely help him out.
That's crazy.
His
Yeah.
Nerd Affiliated's like that close to getting
Love that.
remonetized.
Love that. He deserves it. I don't even know
Oh, he
why he
does.
was unmonetized, but
Well,
it's fucked
some
up. But
BS reasons, but
sorry.
And then Runny Roughshot, what's up, man? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. All right, so I'm going to put you guys on the spot a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Have you ever had a disagreement when it comes to guest or when it comes to content that you want to talk about on the Cantina? And has it ever gotten to a point where it's like, oh, maybe we need to take a step back here and talk about this?
It hasn't happened yet.
I
was
don't
gonna
think
say not
yes,
yet.
for sure. No.
Mm-mm.
I think if it got to the point where it was somebody I didn't want to talk to, I just would call out that night.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I don't know that that would happen though. I mean, I like everybody we've been talking to.
Yeah.
I'm meeting new
Right.
people. It's
And
awesome.
to be honest, like I don't go out there on rogue, no pun intended, to like hire people to be on the show.
Right.
I ask everybody like, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Because
It's
I'm the
a
main
democracy.
one that goes out and does this,
Right.
like this part of it.
Right.
Right.
So like when I say, hey, let's have Star Wars Sith, nobody said that, oh no, he's a dick. No.
Right.
We all want him on there because you know, like I love Tony. You know,
Tony's
he's
great.
I spent the week with Tony back in May. So nobody said, hey, no, don't have him
That's
on.
right.
Nobody
That's-
said don't have
That's right.
even though me and Diamond Figs have never run into each other.
Yeah.
I've watched everything he's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Same.
And that was the
Yep.
reason behind having him on too, also with Tony. And nobody ever said, nah, don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like I try to run everything by. Do I get excited sometime and say, hey, we're going to have this person on? Yes, I do. But for the most part, they're receptive of it all. And vice versa. If they have somebody that they want to have on,
Right.
throw it at me, dude. I don't care if I hate the person, not the person, never heard of the person. You know, we'll do it. We'll do whatever, man.
Yep.
It is what it is.
What's best for the show? Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
And we're also
Like you, Yukon, you're going to be on, and I was like, I don't know
Yeah,
about
very
this.
excited
Like,
for that. Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, Yakin with Yukon, who's he? Like, I'm just kidding. Like, he'll
You
be
know,
on
there is a way to remove you from this stream if you would like.
That's okay. You know, that's okay.
I
I'll be
mean-
back. I'm the devil, so I'll be back.
I don't
Don't
think
worry.
I don't think that it's like a main goal to have a guest every week either.
No.
But also, like
True.
I noticed what Scott said in the chat, which is really cool to see that out of 100 episodes, there was only one night where he felt it just didn't gel. So that's
Mhm.
That's
you know we haven't hit that yet, but I hope if it happens that we just
Who
handle
was
that
this, Scott?
professionally and
I know who it was.
you
I'm
know, he was you.
Yeah.
It was
I
just
hope
me
it
and you
wasn't
were
me
on
and
there.
Colin because we
No,
were
it
the
was you-
guests
it
on
was
that
you
one
two and
fucking
me.
time.
He's like, get these guys out of here.
If it was probably Colin's doing. But anyway,
Everybody's looking for the
I
dirt. Who
remember
was
that.
it? Who was it? You have to go back and watch. You'll figure it
I'll
out. I
talk to
guess.
him backstage.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot a little more. We're going to go around the room on this. I want you guys to give me your dream guest to have on the Cantina, and why. Why is that your dream guest? So we'll start out with you, Joe.
With who?
Who's your dream guest? Who do you
Oh,
want to have
start
on?
with Brett. Start with Brett. I got any time to
Okay,
think.
well,
I gotta think. That's a
We'll
tough
start
So-
with Brett. Brett,
so
who's your guest?
If we're just talking from the Star Wars galaxy, I guess it would be somebody like Dave Filoni,
Mm.
because if he's sort of taken this promotion now to where he can he's handling the quality of the storytelling,
Mhm.
then I would just want to kind of grill him about, what's the path? Can you just give us some hints, because there's always so much negativity about the management of Lucasfilm and things like that, and Disney this and Disney that. But really what it all comes down to is, I mean, you could people say too much too soon is bad, but it's like you could do a new Star Wars show every month, Disney Plus or otherwise.
right?
And I say, as long as it's good, I don't give a damn. But if I had to talk to one person about it right now, just looking out at that landscape at this moment, I mean, obviously George Lucas, but Dave Filoni, because he's the man now. It's like, hey, what's the plan?
Good pick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's pick
I
your brain
guess-
a little bit.
It's a good one.
I guess if I had to pick, it would be James Earl Jones.
Mm.
Nice.
There you go.
Only because he's the iconic voice of Darth Vader.
That's right.
Mhm.
He is Darth Vader to me, and he
Right.
always will be, even though
sure.
he was never under the suit.
Yeah.
But Darth Vader is my favorite character of all time, and that voice alone, like that, you're my son. I love James Earl Jones to death, and I would love for him to give me the time of day on this show. I would love that for sure.
Nice. I think mine would be Marsha Lucas. I would love to have her on. I would love to hear uncensored, like all the stories. Just let her open up. Just like, this is your forum. Tell us everything.
Mhm.
Tell us what happened. Tell us about, you and George in the background, maybe disagreeing, like we were talking about earlier, on putting the productions together, because that happened.
Mhm.
She would be amazing. I would love to have her.
Cool.
For me, as a huge fan of Yoda, I would love to kick it back and chat with Frank Oz.
Beautiful.
Good choice. Absolutely.
There's no wrong answer to this,
No,
honestly.
there's really not.
These are awesome answers. I love
Great
it.
picks.
Mhm.
Ryan, how about you?
I'm gonna go with the first name that popped into my mind, and it would be Scott Knowles, who was pretty involved with a lot of the special effects and things for Mandalorian, and he was in the that round table that they did, kind of the walkthrough of all the different episodes, and they highlighted some of the work that he did. But he's also he developed back in the day, was one of the guys that really developed Photoshop, and so he's kind of a guy. He's one of the guys I'd like to have an autograph, and so that's where it comes from. But I just remember him seeing some of the model building and the things they were doing with. They actually did a motion capture of the Razor Crest, and so it wasn't. They built a live model and did this motion capture so that they could see what the reflections are actually looking like, so they could put that into the CG and make the CG better. And he's just, seeing a lot of stuff of him and his work at ILM. It would just be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All great picks. All fantastic picks. Love it. I got to give a shout out to Gary. Gary had a little bit of a heart thing in the hospital. Gary, definitely prayers with you, man.
Hope you feel better, brother.
Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, feel better, bro.
And
Feel better.
Glad you caught it. Glad you caught it in time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Get out of there.
Gary.
Get out of that hospital as fast as you can.
Joe works in the industry, the hospital industry.
He knows.
Yeah,
He knows.
I did, and I used to work actually in the hospital and get out as soon as you can.
Mhm.
Hope you get out as soon as you
Like he's still in there, hopefully out in a day or two. So yeah, that's great, man.
for sure.
Good
Glad
news.
Can
to
I
hear
just
it.
add
You're
something
in my
though?
prayers.
I really like Janine's answer because I love those little facts from, like Joe says, behind the curtain, because Marsha Lucas was asked to come in after an already failed attempt on the editing of the movie.
That's right.
So it wasn't even like she was contracted to be there from the beginning. It was like just a quick turn to say, hey, can you come help us with this?
We
You know what
fixed
I mean? And she won an Oscar,
Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
you
exactly.
know, and
fixed
she
the
made
movie.
one of the first quote unquote trailers. And
Mm.
they said
right.
that the trailer was what kind of sold the movie.
hmm
So I really love that answer. That's just
Thanks.
I love
Yeah.
and I love those little things, because I would want to know, like, how did that happen? Like,
Right.
to where you were just helping your husband, but then you said, okay, I want my name on this.
Right? Like, did you
Right.
fight? What was
You
it
know,
that you fought the hardest for? What
Yeah.
was it that he
Yeah.
fought hardest for? You know, I would love to know all
Right.
those things.
Absolutely.
People can say a lot of stuff about George Lucas, but one thing they cannot deny is the fact that he trusted the team that he put around him, and when they screwed up, he tried to find the right person to
Mm.
write it. He didn't try to jump in and do it all himself. So
Yeah.
Sure.
I always
Definitely.
appreciated that about him.
Yep.
That's a good
Yeah.
point, Brett, because I wanted to ask you guys all your opinions. What is your opinion on the state of Star Wars right now? How do you guys feel about where it's at and where it's going with Disney and
Mhm.
all the shows we're getting? We can't seem to get a movie going. You know,
Right.
every time we get one going, it gets pushed back. So
Right.
going around the room, what are your feelings on it? Where do you think it's going? And are you positive or are you negative on what the future holds for Star Wars in general?
Yeah. I'm kind of like, you know, I look forward to hopefully having another amazing movie, you know, and I can't help but think it takes so many years to make a movie. I'm going to be 55 years old. Is there going to be at least one more good one before I hit the button?
Right.
You know, and like right now I love having Disney Plus. I know people don't want to pay for it, but like with my schedule, I work crazy. So, you know, if I want to come home at 4 o'clock in the morning, or I suddenly find out that I have like 2 days in a row off, I just sit and I watch everything and I'm happy enough. Nothing's
Yeah.
like really like super crazy awesome to me at this point, but I'm entertained enough. So I'm happy enough with that.
Okay.
Exactly. For me, I love everything Star Wars. Even the worst shows that I've seen, I just love Star Wars. Period.
Mhm.
But I do think Disney is not doing them justice
Yeah.
by some means. I just think sometimes they need to go a little step further and make it like the original trilogy that I love.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think they're trying to do too much too soon. And sometimes when I say slow and steady wins the race, I
Yep.
really do mean that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think they take it too far too fast, and I think they need to slow it down and get back to what really matters in Star Wars, and that is just having a little bit of fun, honestly, you know, and
Absolutely.
not so much craziness. You know, you don't have to have
That's
new
what
characters thrown out all the time. It's good to have new characters, but it's also good to have like the original characters just like brought it back in. You know, it's fun for for the older folks that love the show,
Right.
in
Yeah.
my opinion.
I'm like Joe. I'm all things Star Wars, and I will always support it,
Exactly.
regardless of the content, bad or good. But those that know me personally know that I'm not a negative person. But unfortunately, I don't feel too confident in Disney, and the route they're doing things, or how they're doing things. You can only ride on the back of Rogue One for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
It's been 8 years, so that's getting a little old.
Right?
I love Rogue One. That was that was the last one I actually really loved to death. I love it.
Same.
But
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. I mean, they still haven't made a movie or content that equates to Rogue One, that magic, that wow, that excitement factor that everyone received.
Right.
I'm still waiting for that next Rogue One.
Yep.
Yes.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we get that
Yeah.
with Ahsoka, either
Yeah.
season 2 or the movie. I don't know.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens.
Brett, how about you?
I'm all right with how things are going. I think one thing for me when I'm watching content, like right now, I'm on a Bad Batch rewatch before the new season starts. So when I'm in the middle of watching it and I'm trying to take in the story, whether it's giving me bad vibes or good vibes or whatever it's giving me, I'm not thinking effing Disney or effing Lucasfilm. I'm just watching the show. I'm not really thinking of those outside factors. And then when it's over, I'm breaking it down and maybe I'll think of those things. But I mean, think about this. Like you and I have talked before, and I sat in the theater when that first one came out.
Yeah.
So there was only one lane, and then George Lucas had to make more money to further his project, so he did another film, singular lane still.
Mhm.
With Disney now, you got this huge conglomerate that can put all these different directors in the seat and make all these different lanes. So we're not getting that one singular story vibe, and it's spread out, and it kind of creates a lot of these feelings that we're all expressing. And it's like, you're not chasing the original trilogy anymore, so you say now you're going with this with Rey, then you're doing this over here with Bad Batch, you're doing this with Ahsoka. You got all these different lanes, so it's like I'll take whatever they throw out, and then like I said, I just want to see a good show. I want to see a good series. We can critique, like we can say, okay, Bad Batch season 2 was amazing, but they did some filler episodes.
Mhm.
I didn't appreciate the slowdown. Or Ahsoka got boring here for a second, and then there was all of a sudden craziness. Or Mandalorian ended on this weird note with their just fishing, or whatever. Fishing for frogs.
I like that.
See, throw all these weird moments and all these different lanes.
Or the
all
Jack
these different
Black episode,
creators.
whatever.
Yeah, the Jack.
And what
was all right.
and what I'm thinking now is, hopefully that'll all get filtered through Filoni somehow, and it'll slow it down. It'll give Joe that slowdown that he's looking for.
Yeah.
And he can be like, all right, cool. You did a series here. You did a movie here. The next series coming up makes sense. I'm down. Let's go. Hopefully that's what's going to happen, is things will roll into it'll be smoothed out, I guess.
Yeah.
I always feel like everybody can throw a million ideas out there.
Yeah.
But if you just slow and steady, like the tortoise, just win the race.
And it takes time to make things good.
It's so much better, and it just evolves so much better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion. I don't know who else agrees with me, but just if you have 10,000 ideas and you throw 200 of them out, that's all you need. You don't need to throw all 10,000 out right away.
Right.
Let them go little by little, and then 10 years down the line, here you go. You're going to be ahead of the game, in my opinion. Just slow down. Slow down.
Brian, how about you?
Slow.
I kind of on the same page with Brett. I'm very overall, I'm positive about it, especially with Filoni's promotion. And what brought me back to Star Wars. I mean, because we had the original series, or the original 3. We had the prequels, and then that's really all we had, right? And then and it was like, well, was that ever all we're going to have? And then Disney made the decision to buy the IP, and here we are. But
Yeah.
I think that what Disney has done is they brought me back to Star Wars. Mando with the guys making the Mando. That was right place, right time, and that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that show. And then you look at Andor, and you look at the Ahsoka. I went back and started watching the Rebels. A number of years ago, to kind of get back into that. And that first season of Rebels, I was like, what is this? It's just kind of a trog. So even before it was really a Disney thing or whatever, or where we were, we had its problems. And then, that second season of that show started getting really good.
Right.
And so I'm hopeful that we have overall, we have some really great shows. And then, Star Wars, there was somebody that commented on some show I was watching a couple of years ago, but he was like, and they were complaining about a show. He's like, dude, it's more Star Wars. So, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yep.
Nice. All right, let me welcome in a couple more people. We got Colin. What's up, buddy? Good to have you here. And then we got Dean from Geekstron. See if anybody else new rolled in.
I was on a stream with him earlier.
And there he is. There's good old General Kenobi. Good to have you here, buddy.
General. What's up, Jose?
He's got a question for you guys. What kind of Star Wars Avengers level team up is going on here?
That's right. End game, baby. End game.
End game. Right. All right. So Zombie Hunter, we talked about you a little bit earlier. I think if they slow the content down and just put out quality stuff, then it'll get better. Now it's like they're throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. And I think that's not just Star Wars. I think that's everything.
It's everything.
Everything.
They
Yep.
had a lot of time to do
Everywhere.
that. You know.
It's like they can't come up with any original ideas anymore, so they have to like either go back and make a remake or try to embellish off of something they've already made, which doesn't make sense.
Well, and then you look at it too. It was like, what was it? Kathleen Kennedy was like, "Oh, well, there's no content." Well, and
She has no content.
surely there is and is content. You look at the comic books. You look at all the books that have been made.
There
There is content.
Yeah.
And
There's
a
so
lot of that, they moved over because of the whole, making the sequels. They moved it over to the expanded universe or whatever. But you can bring, they've brought stuff back from that and made it canon, and you can do the same with other things that are in there. I'm a huge comic guy, and I collect some of those now. So it's just, but you can bring that. There is content. You can bring that back to Star Wars.
That's right.
Action.
So we live in the world of reboots.
Yes, we should.
How much on board would you be if someone said, "I want to reboot Star Wars. I want to reboot the original trilogy"?
Oh hell
No.
You can't.
No.
You just can't. All you can
Don't
do is
fucking
try to
touch
make a
it.
better.
No.
You just got to make a better show.
That was
If you
magic
want-
in a bottle, and you can't.
Yeah.
If you want, yeah, exactly.
For the time that they've done that show, that movie, those trilogies, and for the all the CGI that they didn't have back then,
Yeah.
they did an amazing job with what they had.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Leave
they
it
created
alone.
that whole genre.
Yeah, leave it alone. It's the most wonderful thing that's ever happened to any. Without that, we wouldn't be here today.
That's right.
Honestly.
Right.
So leave it alone. I think for sure,
Agreed.
I'm with you.
definitely.
But I can just see somebody throwing that out on the
Oh
table.
my gosh.
I can see that happening. It's like that's kind of the one area you don't want to touch.
Right. Don't
No.
mess with it.
No,
Don't mess with
touch
that because the amount of backlash would just be absolutely
You know,
incredible.
you-
with that.
You could go like with Solo, and the end of Solo shows Maul.
Yeah.
And that was an original plan of Lucas to do, and that was going to be the final trilogy. Was that Darth Maul was going to be running stuff like a syndicate, and it was going to be the bad guys trilogy basically. So if you want to pick up right there and go on that way, there's kind of a little bit of a rewrite because now you have a young Han Solo. You've got Darth Maul back in the picture. I would not have an issue with that at all because it's exploring that story arc,
Absolutely.
and you could call that whatever you want to call it in the whole canon
Yeah.
of films. That's fine with me. I think that'd be badass.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to take the original trilogy and try to reboot it,
No.
I would end everything, and you would never see me again.
With-
which might be the best thing to ever happen to any of you. But, I would not have another show.
you
I
could
would be done.
definitely
I
take.
would be done. But if they took like, where did C3PO and
Exactly.
R2D2 come from? Where did Han Solo come from? Where did this person come from? Where did that person come from? That's okay. But
Or-
don't try to reboot what they have already done with those.
Where were
original-
they before these events?
Because-
yeah,
Like those that originally trilogy means a lot to me. Like, even though I don't know, I can't remember like my dad taking me to the first movie. I know that he did.
Right.
I do remember the second movie. I do remember Empire Strikes Back. I do remember going to the movie theater in Ellesmere, Delaware, watching it. I do remember getting the popcorn. I was 4 years old, but I do recollect a lot of that. I do recollect, Return of the Jedi, going to see that with my father. I do remember all this stuff. The first one was a little tough because I was only 4 years old. I was really young, and I was like, he told me I went, but I believe him.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Yep.
The other two I remember like clear as day. I do, honestly, 100%. But don't take that from me. That's the original.
Yeah.
There's
That's right.
nothing that can ever replace that. Please
Mhm.
don't
You
do that.
could say that they already did with the sequels.
Mm.
Kind
Well,
You could technically, I mean, it's pretty much the same story. So
Yeah.
well,
I mean, I'm
you
not-
know,
Or-
that's
or-
why
one was.
that's why
Or-
I tend to not talk about them so much. Honestly.
Or if all things fail,
Put a chick in it, make her gay.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Brian, because a lot of what I've heard, I've talked to Tony about this. I was on his show. We have like 3 different generations of Star Wars fans.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have all of us who are the OG guys, right? The OG people. And then you've got, like Tony's generation, where he's got the prequels. That's kind of their thing, their jam, right? But now we've got this new group. Like my kids are 8 and 6. They see Rey and they're like, well, is this kind of it for Star Wars?
Right.
I've gotten into this a little bit with some other guests, but do you think there's a point where we need to just erase part of Star Wars? Do we need to erase the sequel trilogy and be like, no, it never happened. You're not seeing this ever again. Burn it to the ground.
They made a lot of money. They
Respect
can't
every
erase
generation.
them.
Yeah, you need to kind of respect every generation. It's like, okay, this is what you grew up on, but hey, let me show you something a little better over here.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that they can't. They have to keep going and try to make more money. And they try to have to make more stories, but leave the 3 original alone.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part they've done that.
Yeah.
There's a little, little haze in there where they tried to screw with it a little bit, but honestly, like they've for the most part left the 3 original alone for the most part, in my opinion. But and I hope that they do leave that alone for forever.
Yeah.
Agreed. Dave Dimension, what's up, man? Good to have you here. If you guys have any questions for these guys as I'm going along, definitely put them in the chat. Big Troy, what's up, Big Troy? Good to have you here, buddy.
I think Dave Filoni's going to filter a lot of stuff now going forward.
Yeah,
and that might
I
be why
think
we've
so.
seen some of these new shows delayed.
What's up, Tony?
I
Tony,
kind of
what's
want
up?
I kind of want to believe that's the reason why some of them have had some delays. Is
Yeah.
that he's
What's up,
gotten
Trey?
in the mix and said, no, you need to fix this.
Dre,
Yeah.
what's up, man? Good to have you here, Dre.
I hope so, at least.
Yeah,
Thought
yeah.
that too.
I really think it's going to start with Bad Batch. There's going to be a definite jump in quality storytelling.
I do think
Yeah,
that
I think this is going to be one
that one's
cliffhanger
gonna
of a
pull away
show.
from the others. Yep.
Yeah.
Trailer looked good. Trailer looked
Especially with Assad's Ventress coming back and the
Yes.
Emperor coming back, I
Great.
think it's going to be. I think he's pulling a little bit of the past back into the future, and I think it'll
That's
be
fine.
fine.
That's fine.
I
you
love
know?
that. I
Yeah.
love seeing Assad's Ventress again. I do. I really do.
Because that's one of those things that you mentioned where you could explore a lot of things with her that
You
she was
can. You
involved
can
with.
expand. It's
She
okay
was
to
involved in
expand.
a
Just don't
lot
try
of
to
pivotal
redo.
things.
It's
know,
okay.
so.
Figure Fear says, I remember when my mother took me and my siblings to see Empire Strikes Back. A showcase cinema was sold out. We went home and it was a sad day, but we all saw
Yeah.
it the following
There you
weekend.
go.
Yeah, there you go. I mean,
Yeah.
Joe, it's like you said, you're messing kind of with childhood. You're messing with memories. and
Yes.
that sort of thing. And but I can just see, I think we all know that once they get desperate enough, they're like, you know what, let's just try it. Let's see what
Yeah.
happens. and
I
kinda
mean,
go from
anybody who's my age, like 50 plus, Janine,
Mm-hmm.
you remember going into the movie theater
I do.
and the smell of the popcorn alone was
Yes.
exciting, right?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like that anymore.
No.
No.
It's not like that.
Because you know how much that's going to cost.
Well, first of all, the popcorn's $20. It used to be $4.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joey. But
like
Joey B. But it's like just the smell alone, like the smell of the of the movie theater, like and the fresh film and the new ideas. You can't
And the
get that.
film that we
It's
could
hard to
stuck
get
and
that.
the curtains opening. I mean, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Having
And
to
you
wait,
that
having to
little
get there
dance
2
with the
hours
popcorn with
early.
the
so
legs
you
and
know,
all that.
Right.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, I miss all that, and you don't get that anymore. And
Hoping
I,
you don't
I-
have to pee.
yeah, and I wasn't 50, so I had to
Because
pee
we're
every
over
5
50
fucking
now,
minutes.
so I'm like, I better get this
Yeah.
out. Don't even
Yeah.
look at a drink until I get through
Yeah.
this movie.
My prostate wasn't the size of a fucking watermelon. Then,
We
you
should
know,
probably
like-
end that conversation. You're going to give the movie theaters a good idea where people don't have to get up and go to the bathroom.
They're
So we
going
might
to do
wanna-
Yeah.
intermissions again.
There you
man.
go.
They're talking about doing intermissions again.
Yeah, there you go. Pat's favorite life. Excellent question. I have a question, Phil. What made you decide to have Rogue 5 Cantina on? And thank you for doing so. Okay, so Joe and I have been friends for almost a couple years now, and I chimed in when I thought who the fifth member of the Rogue Five was going to be. I was wrong, but I just got talking to Joe, and I've watched you guys. I don't always chime in the chat, but I have a few times, and I love what you guys do. I know Joe, I know Brett, and then I'm getting to know Janine and Flex and Brian. But Joe and I have always kind of had a thing together where he's been on my show, I've been on his. So I just started talking to him, be like, man, would you guys be interested? And knowing Joe, I expected a response, and I expected a positive response. So right away, typical Joe, he's like, yeah, man, absolutely, we're down. We're down. And then to boot that, I'm on their show on the 25th. So, I mean,
can't wait.
That's
Come
the
on down.
way it goes. When you meet good people in the community, this is the way it goes, and that's just kind of how it is. See, through Joe, I'm meeting you guys, and you guys are meeting me.
Yeah.
And I love it, man. So, the way I go, if you're game to be on this show, I am game to have you, and it's always been that way. I've had Kyle freaking Peterson on this show, and he wasn't too big for it. I've had people that have 20 subs on this show, and I wasn't too big for them. So that's the way it goes with me. And
and you know what? Like I watched you when you had the mask on.
Yeah. Those days, Joe.
I know that you just did a show with a mask versus non-mask, and how far you've come. Right or wrong?
Lucha Libre.
I watch everything you do. I might not show it all the time and say it, but I'm always lurking in the background. Do you think I found these 4 or 5 people just off a whim?
Absolutely.
I've watched and I learned and I've seen what they do. I love each and every one of these people on this screen right now. Each and every one.
He's been drinking, Phil.
I have, but honestly, but they each know that I've told them this before. Non-drinking.
Love you right back, brother. Cheers.
I've had hot dog and told them that. I've had a fish stick and told them that.
There's not a fish stick's chance in the galaxy.
Like these people, honestly, like all joking aside, like these guys and yourself, I've known before any of this. So what makes it special is that, we've seen each other progress.
Yep.
And, all these guys like Brett, he's doing shows every week. Brian, he's making awesome dioramas. Janine's, her videos are awesome. 2,000 plus views, right?
4,500.
4,500 now. Look, I blinked an eye and it's 4,500.
Yeah, yesterday it was 2,000. I'm up to 4,500.
Exactly. I looked yesterday. Thank you, Janine, for correcting me. But I'll deal with you later. Flex, you know how I feel.
Crickets.
All of you guys, man.
Crickets and KY.
I can't say much more than that. And for Yukon, I've been watching you since the Mask. We've had you on Well That FM Figures, which I'm not supposed to talk about here, but I will because I don't give a shit. I've watched it all over the place. We've had you on there. You've had us on there. It's all that stuff. It's a family.
And that's what it takes, man. That's what it takes.
Exactly.
If you start making friends, you got to do
one rule I'll say that I think Joe will appreciate that I mentioned is that we break is we're not afraid to have people on repeatedly, and we're not afraid to leave the door open to have people just jump on during the show.
Man.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to break the rules.
It doesn't have to be that regimented every week. We can have fun and like Rosa or anybody else.
I'm also not afraid to break the rules. If somebody that one of the higher powers said, "Hey, I don't think it's a good idea," too bad.
Yep.
This is my show. This is our show.
It's kind of a norm that people will have just the one person and that's it. It's like for us, it's like a free for all. Let's have some fun,
That's a great point, man. Because you've got to, the way what I've found out is you got to have people on multiple times to find out everything.
That's
You can't touch base in just an hour on everybody's story. And what everybody's into, how they feel about the hot topics going on and everything else. It takes multiple times. And then sometimes you just want to have somebody on to shoot the shit. That's just
because I'm totally transparent. Like our next shows, we're here tonight, obviously. We have Diamond Figs and we have Star Wars Sith tonight on our next show at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Road 5 Cantina. On 2-4, we have Vince Verdi. He's Trooper Helmet. We have nobody on the 11th. Because that's Super Bowl weekend, we've screwed that up.
I ain't watching that. I'm watching Road 5 Cantina.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be here. Trust me, I'll be here. 218, we have Legacy Arts Dioramas. We have Jens. We have Yukon Phil on the 25th.
Mark your
We
calendar.
have Trent Runyon on the 3rd of March.
Yeah.
And on 310, we have Gabe from Collection Wars.
Man, phenomenal.
And I can't, and you know what? And that makes me happy that we have that far out booked already with people that I respect and love. So
That's right.
I can't ask for anything more than that. So.
And they said yes. And that's what this whole
And they said yes to me.
Yeah,
There you go.
But my dumbass, you know, like, hey.
Yeah, it's about community, whether you're a part of the community and we're all on each other's shows and we're creating content, or you're a part of the community because you're on chat and you're on the Facebook page and you follow everybody on Instagram. And it is just one all huge community and everyone is super important and appreciated.
Yep. And it's all about pushing Star Wars and Star Wars content and collecting forward.
There you go. Yep. Tony, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate it very much. I don't want to keep you guys chilling. I know you got your show to get ready for, but I do have one more question for you. Then I want you each to plug what you got going on individually. What is the ultimate goal for this show? What do you guys want to see happen? Is there a certain amount of views, a certain amount of subs, or is it just about doing what you're doing and having a good time with it?
For me, it's exactly, I think, what we have now. When you have people from other countries watching your show every week faithfully, Rosa in Norway, 4 or 5 in the morning. We have friends in Portugal. We have friends in Spain, Australia. When you got to see
Canada
coming, England, week after week after week, and then staying
Texas.
up late. For me, that does it all. I think we're doing something right. That people are giving up that kind of time, to listen to us and stuff. So to me, I think we've already accomplished our goal.
Yeah,
to add to that,
go ahead, Brett.
Because you guys are East Coast. Brian and I are Midwest. Janine's on the West Coast.
Yes.
So it's a feat just to get us 5 lined up. Because we always got to do the math for the time change. It's like, can you just move it back an hour?
It really is like what Flex said. Like for people like Rosa to be 3 a.m. on a Sunday. On a Monday morning, to be watching us live speaks volumes. And we love Rosa.
Diana.
We love Diana.
She's got time for a nap.
Zombie Hunter.
Yeah, Zombie Hunter in Australia. We have people
you better
even
not
here.
Forget anyone now.
It's ridiculous. Like they are here like Thursday, leaving comments in the chat. And there's nothing that we could ask for more than that. We love you all, and we will continue to sound the siren. You never know who's going to be on. I don't care if who is it. I don't care who is on. I don't care if the biggest name you can mention is on. I don't care. We could sound the siren and interrupt and have one of the chat members in.
Yep.
And that's the way it is.
It's
like it's fun and we love it, and we thank you for having us on, and we can't wait to the 25th to talk to you.
Absolutely, man.
And grill your ass right here.
That's right.
On Road 5 Cantina. So yeah.
All right, great. So not like you haven't done it already, but plug it. Tell us what you guys going on. Joe, you kind of already did this, but one more time for me, for everybody else. Before you do, thank you, all 5 of you, so much for being on. Really appreciate it. Great time. You guys are always welcome back, as always. All you guys in the chat, appreciate you guys. You guys come out in droves. So yeah, take it away, Joe. Tell us what you got going, and we'll wrap things up.
We got tonight with we got Will from Diamond Figs and Tony from Star Wars Sith, and then let me see who I already
going to be
out,
talking Sith tonight.
Yeah, we'll be talking Sith.
Some Sith talkers.
Next week, Trooper Helmet, Vince Verdi. He's a very talented guy on Instagram who and he makes all kinds of helmets from. It's unbelievable what he does. He made a what was it? Yeah, he made an AT-AT driver helmet for Scott Barry. Nice. It's unbelievable. 211. We're just gonna have probably an open mic because it's
Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl. Yes, thank you. Super
You're
Bowl
welcome.
weekend. That's why she's the first sister,
We
because
should
she
just run it during the
helps.
whole
She
game.
helps the grand instigator with all his missing words.
There you go.
Legacy Arts on 218, very talented as well. Jens, he's awesome. He agreed to be on. Yukon, you'll be on the 25th. I can't wait for that. Trent Runyon, and then Gabe to round out, up to March 10th. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I got a few more people in the works, and even the weeks we don't have people on, we're going to make this as fun as possible. We're going to pull people in from the chat with a siren. We're going to have our work in progress. We're going to continue to surprise people with what we do. We have our very wonderful sponsor, General Kenobi.
That's right.
We have everything, man. It's like I can't ask for more than what we have. So thank you, Yukon Christopher.
Thank you
for having us on. And I'll always call you that because now
there's only one person in this world who calls me that, and that's my mom, man.
and now two. Now you got me, the grand instigator. Yukon Phil, thank you enough. Thank you for being on, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And if these guys
Thanks
have
for being
anything to
on
say,
Rogue 5
the floor is
Cantina
theirs.
tonight, Phil.
Great.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime. All right, guys. Well, that'll do it. Thank you again, guys. Really appreciate you being on. Everyone, next week, Chris from Everything's Plastic will be back on the show for his second time. So really looking forward to talking to Chris. If you haven't checked out Everything's Plastic, go check him out. Great guy. Does great work as well. All you guys in the chat, thank you very much. You guys have a great show tonight. I'll try to tune in if my kids are in bed. So have a great show.
See you at 9 o'clock p.m.
Right.
Eastern.
You guys have a good one. We will see you guys next week on Yakin with Yukon.
Thank you.